comes to having conversations with your colleagues at work, the water cooler conversations, breaking the ice, small talk, are there topics that are off limits? Are there certain issues you shouldn't be discussing except they are brought up maybe? Or certain questions you should refrain from asking? Come closer. Let me share 5 questions that I think you should not be asking in the workplace. If you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Ola, your DEI bestie. And through Inclusive Erst, I help organizations and inclusive leaders ensure that they get the very best out of your employees and ensure that their organizations function at the highest level of innovation, inclusion, and productivity, especially by fostering a strong sense of belonging in the workplace. So the topic of the day, 5 questions you should not be asking in the workplace. The first one is really important, especially as we've had a lot of government transitions and elections around the world. The first question you should not be asking in the workplace is your colleagues or your teammates' political leanings. This includes the political party that they support, the political ideologies that they have, and maybe who they voted for. Unless this comes up naturally and people volunteer that information, this is something that you probably should be staying away from asking because it tends to evoke a lot of emotions. Of course, politics is a core part of society and a core part of individuals' lives. And so, of course, it would elicit some emotions, some very strong emotions when you discuss political leanings and people's political affiliations or votes. Yeah, best to stay away from it unless, of course, it comes up naturally and people volunteer that information. Of course, that is then an indication that they're comfortable relaying that kind of information about themselves. The second one is also a hot one, a very touchy one, and that is individuals' religious beliefs or spirituality. So questions like, do you believe in God? Are you a Christian or a Muslim? Or what do you believe in? This is a very touchy one. And if people have not expressly indicated that they're comfortable discussing religion and spirituality, it is probably something that you should be staying away from. A friend of mine actually told me that she laughed out loud in the workplace when one of her colleagues told her that she believes in energy. And because she had not heard that ever before that conversation, she thought it was a joke. Yeah, that was very uncomfortable for the both of them. And she did say that she observed a very big shift in their relationship going forward because the person obviously felt offended that she would laugh at her believing in energy. And that's an indication that discussing spirituality and religious beliefs is not quite the topic for small conversations in the workplace because of the kind of emotions that it can evoke. The third one is sexual orientation or sexual preferences. This is one that I strongly believe has no place in the workplace. If you want to be talking about this with someone, maybe they're your colleague or your team member, and you feel like maybe you have a deeper relationship with them. Perhaps you've become friends. Probably best to do it outside the workplace, when you have social gatherings and you're sure that it is something that that colleague or that individual wants to discuss with you. Otherwise, for small talk and, just general conversations with people who are just colleagues in the workplace, I do not think this should feature, asking questions like, do you swing both ways? What's your sexual preference? All of those sexual questions about individual sexual preferences and leanings, do not go there. Don't do it. Leave it off your conversations. Talk about something else. Talk about food. Talk about the weather. Yeah. You probably should not be going there. The fourth one is about family life. And this one is a little bit tricky because it tends to come up in conversations. So questions like, do you have kids? How many kids do you have? Oh, you stop talking about your partner. Are you separated? Those kind of questions about family life. I feel like if the individual has not expressly volunteered that information and brought up their kids, brought up their spouse, brought up their relationship dynamics, you should probably stay away. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stay away from such conversations about family life. It can quickly go south. It can go south very quickly, very, very quickly. And, you might even make innocent comments, supposedly innocent comments, or express certain opinions that can just be taken the wrong way. Workplace relationships are very sensitive in that way, that this kind of topics, bringing them into the mix, can tend to mess things up a little bit and make things a little bit more sensitive. And so it's best to stay away, except of course you've reached that level of friendship or closeness that you feel like, yes, this is a topic that is normally discussed between me and this individual. The final one that I think you should be staying away from asking in the workplace is probing about an individual's immigration status or ethnicity. And this is really important for people who work in very international environments, in environments where you have people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, people who have probably naturalized, or people who came into a particular country as refugees or seeking asylum, right? I feel like these kinds of information are very private. Unless they are maybe needed for administrative purposes, then they should be shared on an absolute need to know basis. It should not be a question for the lunch table or a work meeting, a casual work meeting. So questions like, where are you really from? That's an absolute fail. Don't do it. Don't ask such questions. If you've asked where someone is from and they've told you one time, resist the urge to probe further. Resist the urge to tell them that you don't believe that they're from where they've told you they're from. They're from wherever they've told you they're from, and that's it. There's no need to ask where they're really from based on whatever physical features you think you might have observed or whatever accents you think you might be hearing or anything else. Do not do it. That curiosity does not belong to you. It does not belong to the workplace. Don't do it. Or questions like, are you even a refugee? Did you come here because there was a war in your country? Do not do it. You're not entitled to that kind of information from your colleagues. And if they do not volunteer it themselves, you are opening the door to a very, very dark place. If you ask such questions, it can easily, very easily go wrong. I wonder what you all think about these 5 questions. Have you asked any one of them? What kind of responses did you get? Did it go well? Did it go down south? Let me know in the comment section. I'm really curious to know if you agree that you shouldn't be asking these questions, and if you disagree, of course, I'm open to hearing your dissent as well. I really hope this has been helpful and enjoyable for you to watch. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.